Bitcoin right now is all the rage. In the financial and investment world, everyone from multi-billion-dollar companies to mega millionaires of the world to investment companies to the common people are looking to get their hands on what is probably the fastest growing asset when it comes to value as well as demand.
Now, Ethereum is around today. It hasn't taken out its peak versus Bitcoin yet, but it's taken out its all-time high. Will it outperform Bitcoin over time? Who knows?
But as we know, there is only a limited number of Bitcoins that can ever be generated. It raises a question, is crypto going to be limited to only the 21 million or so Bitcoins once it reaches the ceiling? Will any of the other currencies that are following the steps of Bitcoin and coming up in the market ever gain enough traction to be a valuable asset in the real world? If you ask some of the crypto and investment experts, they will tell you that Ethereum might just be the next up-and-comer after Bitcoin. This currency has shown an unprecedented growth, and though it still has a long way to go before it can actually be of enough value that it starts making its mark in the real financial world, everyone can see the trends going in the right direction. One of the main reasons why Ethereum is quickly gaining worldwide attention is because, apart from being just a store of money and an asset for money transfer, it also has many other attributes that open up a wide range of other places and purposes for which this crypto asset can be used once it reaches a fully developed stage. You can already see the charts and notice a massive adoption curve across the globe.
Assets have value, they don't have to be money. A Picasso is not money, it is value. So I think those two things are different.
Much like we saw for Bitcoin not very long ago. Right now, the value of it is not moving much, which makes it not the most attractive as a value-added asset, but the same feature makes it a great option when it comes to some of its other use cases such as digital business development, storing value, etc. Another reason is the highly deflationary state that Bitcoin is in as we speak. You can see how the value of Bitcoin keeps going up every day. But if it continues like this, if Bitcoin keeps going up like it is now, then people will only start putting their money in Bitcoin and not any other asset. Bitcoin will outperform every other asset present in the market and become the one prime asset that we value everything else with. This would eventually kill the growth and productivity of capital, and people will be stuck in a cycle of deflation and inflation, which would probably become problematic over time, as in the case that the denominator against which all others are measured keeps going up. Everything else will start to deflate against it, and business especially start earning less and less money every year from capital.
Everybody else will only put their money in Bitcoin and not other assets, unless you get short-term cyclical moves in other assets. That would tend to make Bitcoin outperform all assets, which stops all productive use of capital. It drives M2, money supply, Bitcoin money supply to zero.
This really is not a good thing. That's why the experts like Raoul Pal think that Bitcoin may be a pristine asset. But it is not only an asset that will grow over time. It might have all the necessary attributes that are needed to make a good store of value in investment assets, but it would not be the main asset that everything is measured against. He does not say that it is not possible, but he definitely thinks that the probability of this happening is quite low when you look at the overall financial and monetary system. As an example, he says that just because electricity is one of the most crucial and costly utilities does not mean that every other utility should sell at the price of electricity, which totally makes sense.
So how I look at this is Bitcoin is currently $1 trillion-ish, and the rest of the space is, call it $700 or $800 million. If I look at the equity space, or the fixed income space, or the credit space globally, they're all about 300 to 500 trillion. So if this is truly as disruptive as we think it is, which is the internet of value, then it's going to be worth something like that, if not more.
So it's pretty clear that there will be more growing crypto assets. More digital currencies will come up and make a place in the real markets. But the question is, which ones will actually grow? Which ones have the potential to be more than they are today? Many people put money in a bunch of tokens around 2017 when the Bitcoin was in its initial bull run. And most of them went to zero eventually, which made people apprehensive of trusting the crypto tokens that are not yet popular. But like any investment area, you need to remember that 80% of your investments eventually die out. But what matters is the 20% that works. And out of all the new crypto tokens that came out and gained traction in 2017, Ethereum is the one that has survived. It is still around. It has not gone to zero. It has not died down. It may have not yet reached a peak like Bitcoin has, but it is at an all-time high in its own curve and shows high potential for growth. It might not reach the massive market that Bitcoin has in the next 5 years, but in time, it gradually probably will. Why? Well, because the system we live in right now is faulty. The monetary system is messed up no matter where you go. Which country or currency you look at, the economies are messed up. Debt keeps increasing while wages have been close to static. The income disparity between the rich and the poor is constantly growing while people have no idea how to achieve a decent standard of living without working 20 hours a day. So this is why a lot of smart people across the world are now coming together to build a parallel financial system in the virtual world where we can migrate and relieve some of the pressure on the physical monetary system. Right now, the Bitcoin market is somewhere about $1 trillion market, and the rest of the crypto is about 500 to 800 million. On the other hand, physical asset markets like equity are massive. They are near to 300 to 500 trillion dollar markets, which tells us that the crypto market can still grow massively. It can go up to about 200 to 300 times its current rate, and that is a lot. If that happens, the parallel world will become just as relevant as the existing financial world. We will be able to trade and get paid in money as well as crypto. It would all be the same. So there is a huge potential for gain, not just in Bitcoin, but other promising crypto assets as well, like Ethereum. All you need to have is a little bit of patience. Do you think about in the next 2 weeks or the next 6 months or the next 2 years? Do not think about how much you need your Bitcoin holdings to grow so that you can sell it and buy a car. Do not think that you should sell your Ethereum holdings because it's not moving. You need to think about the next 20 years. Focus on the long term. Think about how much your current Bitcoin or Ethereum holdings could be in value if they grew 100 or 200 or 300 times what they are now. You want to buy a car? Get a bank loan for the next few years and pay it back slowly. But hold on to that Bitcoin and Ethereum. This is a huge market. And with the potential it shows, it is pretty much clear that it will be growing as we go forward from here no matter what. We need another system to rescue us, and this crypto one is already here for us to enter. Do not lose your chance to be part of the financial revolution for quick gains.
Currently a crypto asset, and the highest quality of all. So, I kind of pioneered the pristine collateral, because it's got no claims against it, how it operates. It's a store of value clearly right now, but it has these other attributes as well because it hasn't got to full moneyness yet. So we're seeing the adoption curve take place. So that means it's pretty useless as a currency per se because it moves too much in value.